A new round of layoffs has been announced at General Motors. Things don't look like they're going so great over there, and maybe some of us have a pretty good idea why. Well, I've shared some thoughts in the past about the union efforts to have a big strike last year and what it all meant and what it would do, and I got some pushback, some very aggressive, ugly pushback, and let's see how it worked out because I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Asa. So what I'm looking at here is this post on X. Yes, let's jump to that. It is this. GM lays off 1,000 unmistakable sign. The auto industry is slowing. Is it? Is it? Let's see which big brain on X posted this. Oh, it was me. I tried to explain during the strike negotiations that if workers got everything they wanted, they'd bargain themselves out of a job. They got it all, and here we are. I had a ton of angry comments calling me anti-union. I'm not. I was just trying to explain the consequences, the obvious, unavoidable consequences. If you take too much, if you ask for everything, you get everything. When a parasite takes too much, they kill the host. And that's what we're looking at. Now, I've seen people push back on this on X saying, well, no, Brian, you misunderstand. These people laid off. These are all the salaried positions. Right. But you can't have the workers without the salaried positions. You can't have manufacturing unless you also have engineering and marketing and human resources. You need all of those things together. And you can't have all of those things without the factory workers. You need them both, you guys. You need them both. So let's look at some other manufacturers who do not share the brand name General Motors. Stellantis to lay off 400 workers at Detroit Material Logistics Facility. Latest job cuts following an announcement of 1,100 at the Toledo South Assembly Plant in Ohio. So that's Stellantis. So that's not General Motors. That's not good. Stellantis laying off roughly 400 at its Michigan-based logistics facility that serves the automaker's assembly complex. Layoffs start January 5th. So this is an ongoing story. Yeah, it is a transitional year. It isn't. Is it? How so? Ridiculous. And of course, we've got Detroit in trouble for the big three auto. This is all about the 1,100 workers that were laid off prior to those 400. It's the Jeep assembly plant in Ohio. Jeep, oh man, those typically sell quite well, but maybe that's part of the transition, and you and I just aren't smart enough to understand it. For that matter, GM and Stellantis to close their 2 Arizona proving grounds and lay off the employees for that. That's not great. General Motors and Stellantis are closing them. That's a problem. You don't want that to happen. But it's what happens when you cut too deep, you know. You're killing the golden goose. And I'm not saying the workers were paid fairly prior to that. I'm saying that what they asked for and what they got was probably too much. General Motors lays off about 1,000 workers, cutting costs to compete in a crowded automotive field, shedding costs as it tries to compete. The workers, mostly white collar. So they're not all the white collar folks. We need to optimize for speed and excellence. When have you ever optimized for excellence? And for that matter, if you weren't, why weren't you optimizing for excellence? Doesn't everyone optimize for excellence? Come on. GM and other automakers have been navigating an uncertain transition to electric vehicles, both in the US and worldwide. So there is a very real possibility that in coming months, coming years, it will become easier to sell gasoline-powered cars in the US. EV incentives are likely to be cut or removed entirely. Battery manufacturing incentives are also likely to be on the chopping block as a wasteful investment. If those things happen, the only opportunity is to either import more electric cars, which is not something they want to do, or to just sell more gas. And the energy secretary, I believe, is a fracking executive, a fossil fuel executive. So that's something that may come to pass. What did you think was going to happen? I guess would be my question. Did you not stop to think that maybe you were cutting too deep? It's pretty crazy. You know, you've got GM cutting off, let's see, 1,000 employees announced Friday by email. Hey, check your inbox. You don't work here. Ugh. Yeah. We're across the business, some due to poor performance, others part of a review to reorganize. And lest you think that this is isolated, Ford has layoffs at the Rouge complex west of Detroit. That's the big one. That's the big factory. That's the one you can tour. You can go get a ticket and tour it. I have done that. It is unfortunate. Now they're saying electric vehicles requires 40% fewer man hours to produce. Yes, but you could also make more of them. Your EV sales so far have not been very exciting. Make more of them. Maybe do that. Many workers are angry and disgusted with the response of the UAW, told the World Socialist website. Fain promised us job security. It was supposed to be the best contract ever, but we don't know whether we're going to have a job or not. Yeah, I made a video about that, guys. I made a video about that. And when I got all the angry comments, I made another video explaining that. Shawn Fain did not have your best interests at mind. He was thinking about himself. He was worried about his own bottom line, not yours. He didn't care if you wound up out of a job. He just wanted to score a cheap victory, even if it was at your expense. Ford is dramatically cutting hourly workforce that builds the F-150 Lightning. Was it because you're building so many? And this is at a different plant. This is at Dearborn, I believe. Dearborn? Yes. So yeah, of the 2,100 workers who make up the 3 work crews, 1/3 will remain on site at the Rouge plant. But yeah, and they're going to pay a fortune to get rid of them because you have to. That's what the union requirement says. So it's pretty tough, guys. It's tough out there. What are you thinking? And what's the solution now? I don't know if there is one. I had hoped that the representation would be reasonable and that the union members would have sufficient capacity to push back on absurd claims. If someone comes in, like your union boss or your congressman, and says, look, vote for me, free pony, you have to ask who's paying for that pony. If someone comes in and says lifetime warranty or guaranteed free battery swaps for life, you say free. Well, that's free. Free's free. No, my friend, someone is paying for it. If it's not you, who is it? And if it's a company, you have to ask if they're going to be around long enough to actually honor it. I remember when I was a teenager, there was this fitness club. It was the most expensive one in town that ran this promotion. You can buy a lifetime membership. Just pay once. Just pay once. And you have a membership for life. It was the talk of the town in Linwood. This is probably the 80s. It was kind of by where the convention center is now. And they sold a ton of them. Oh, everybody was buying them. My family almost considered buying one because how can you pass up a deal like that? It's too good to be true. And of course, about 6 months later, they were gone. That was the end of it. They got all their money and they left. So yeah, there is no free lunch. It makes as much sense. I still periodically have to field questions from people saying, why can't I just have a generator on the ground behind my electric car to generate more power? You know, unlimited free energy. And I used to try analogies like, well, have you ever tried pumping water into a water wheel powered by the water wheel? It doesn't work. They go, no, but this could be more efficient. I mean, the car's already moving. So what I finally started saying is, well, good news. They're already doing that. It's called regenerative braking. Yeah. Now you need the power that you're already using. If you put the wheel down to generate power, you're going to lose speed. You have to speed back up. But when you don't need the speed, regen. So good news, your idea half works. And I mean, that's pretty good. I'll take half, right? Half is pretty good. Yeah, that's all good news. Hey, I mentioned this on the other show today, but I'll mention it again. Yes, that's right. The Chattanooga Charge, March 29th and 30th. I will be there. I will be there. I go to a lot of these. I've got frequent flyer miles. I can use them. I'll find a couch to crash on. Hey, if you're in Chattanooga and got a spare room, maybe you let me know. And it's going to be great. I didn't mention it in the other video today, but these speakers that are announced, fantastic speakers, of course. I know all of them. Josh West, Tesla Tino, Bearded Tesla Guy, Diana from the Colorado Club, Simon from the Light Shows, Jim Spencer, the Iowa Tesla Guy. They're all going to be there, but there are more guests coming. And I would like to tell you who they are. And I will when it's announced, because there are a lot of discussions ongoing, and there are some pretty fantastic guests that will be joining us on stage on various panels. It's going to be a hoot. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it into them comments below. And everybody else, like, subscribe. You know what you're doing. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots in Chattanooga.